We'll do it. This is bad. I do wonder if people realize how bad like algorithms really are. Like even I've caught myself in it, right? Like I get sucked into my own algorithm for a while there. And then I end up just reading the same shit pretty much over and over again, then starts agreeing with me. And I'm like, oh, this is, I am hearing my own words back at me. Yeah, serotonin, the world isn't full of shit. And then I realize that because I'm only hearing myself, I'm hating things that aren't me more and more and more and more. So I wonder how many people on social media platforms that get sucked into those algorithms. I wonder how many of those people don't realize that they've wrapped themselves into an echo chamber and then just sit there and read the same shit that they would say back to themselves and then never realize that they are just absolutely so sucked into their echo chamber. Echo chambers are a huge problem for algorithms. Ethically, you shouldn't get closed off, but you make less money if your viewers don't like engaging because they aren't in an echo chamber. So, I also have an opinion on that one. Race car. I do agree. I do agree with everything you're saying on the algorithm, but I also think a part of getting the closed off is also a part of people themselves, not also necessarily an algorithm. You see it a lot on Twitter, less on Facebook and other platforms like that. It's been done on Instagram. It's people who assume you are awful because you are following someone. And we need more green space. Yeah. Yes, I'll start, dog. That's crazy. And it's because a lot of people don't, when they think you're following somebody, it's a matter of, oh, they think you support, where not necessarily. I follow people I don't like because I just want to keep up with what they don't like, or with what they don't like. Or with things that are either opposite of me, or they're just people I don't like and I just want to stay up to date with them. But that does put you in hot water if you get noticed by the group of people who are like, oh, you're following this person. And then you get absolutely fucking reamed for following this person. And so even while echo chambers are also a part of the problem, people also force echo chambers if you want to stay in certain groups. For example, if you were following CD Projekt Red, or anyone involving the development of the Harry Potter game during those debacles, you were called many, many things. And it kind of turns following people who aren't maybe fully agreed upon. They turn them into ticking time bombs for you to follow. And so, like, even now, I follow people that I'm honestly surprised I haven't gotten flack for, but it's also completely possible that I have had certain people that I've met stop talking to me involving things like that. And so it's hard to say, but it's definitely a thing that not only do algorithms not help with, but also people also don't help with algorithms. And so it's kind of like this double down. People every single game sold, yeah. And it's just another one of those, like, people don't care until they give a shit for a week. That's the problem. One bad thing's happen, one bad thing happens, and then all of a sudden everyone's up in arms for a week, and then they stop caring. But in that week, they cause so much catastrophic damage to the people around them that is so rough that people don't even consider going back to it. And that's the unfortunate part about it, is a lot of this stuff involving discourse amongst algorithms and people wouldn't be as bad if people were more willing to accept that you can follow somebody and just want to follow news about that person, not necessarily that following them means supporting. But we wrapped up the concept of followers. Followers mean support. Followers mean this. Followers mean that. They mean that they are popular, they are supportive, where following doesn't mean any of that. Following means you are just wanting to keep up with this person, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you like them. It also doesn't necessarily mean that you hate them. It is a matter of, I want to stay up to date with this person. And maybe, like, for example, let's say you follow a bunch of news sites that you don't care about what the fuck they post. You don't care about, what they are, who they are, the things they've said. You just want to keep up with them. It's a form of journalism. Yeah, journalists do it all the time because that is a thing. It is following people you don't necessarily like. It does not mean that you're following them because you need to hate them and you need to like them. It's, you are following somebody. But we turn followers into this weird middle ground of, it means you like this person and it means that you support this person. Like, I'm like how does that argument make sense when people say, "Oh, you got hate followed?" I'm like, "No, you got followed because people who don't like you want to keep up with the stupid shit that you might say in the future so that they can clock you on that." Right? Or so that they can counterpoint and do news like that. It's very, yeah, as you say, Lou, it is very cult coded. It doesn't mean anything like that. And people have forgotten that. 3 a.m. by Suppressed Pistols. Uh-oh. Yeah. And like, it's one of those things that people don't fully understand and they don't care. And I can explain this to however many people they try. It just doesn't work. Like, people do not physically understand that following does not necessarily mean supporting. Following can mean supporting, aka if you're following me because you like something I said, or if you drop like a subscribe on like YouTube and shit like that. Yes, that in turn, if you liked what I said, you are able to subscribe or follow or whatever because you like it and you want to support me. That is a option. It does boost algorithms and stuff like that. But also, you are completely capable of doing it and just wanting to keep up with it and know what this person's doing. I do it all the time. I follow people I don't care for. Why? Because I don't like them, but I stay up to date with them because sometimes they say something that has some meaning. Sometimes they're spewing bullshit. Who knows? And that's the thing. That's the thing that makes following very important. And then people do that, and then it gets mixed in with the algorithms. And when it starts getting mixed in with the algorithms, all it does is create this circle because, God, I'm going to say it. Nobody likes their algorithm full of shit they don't like, right? Because a lot of people use social media spaces to escape from, well, reality sometimes. And when you start scrolling through like you start scrolling through Twitter or TikTok or whatever the fuck you want to use, and all of a sudden it's just full of political rants and political this and politics that and politics here. Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to hear that unless you're looking for that. In that case, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk about politics 24/7, 365. Gross. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want that, so they manipulate the algorithm. They like things they don't, or they like things they like, or they things they don't like. They put the I want to ignore this, don't suggest me this, blah blah blah, and it totally just skips past all that again. And then they end up back into recreating this circle around themselves of things that they only like, which is good. But also, at the end of the day, you need some things in there that you aren't gonna like, and things that are gonna challenge your thought if you want to continue to grow as a person. Just for the sake of, yes. Ubisoft is special with this. Yeah, and the whole Ubisoft thing is a whole different argument at this fucking point. Yeah, and like I said, it's just one of those things that it's algorithms and people. When you give people the ability to provide themselves the quickest access to a fucking dopamine hit and get their serotonin and just make them feel good for the day, they're going to take that route. That's just how humans work. Because if you can make what's not real better than what is, people are going to deviate to what isn't. It's how that works. And that's fine, but also you have to be able to realize, you have to be, it's going to sound awful, mature enough to notice when you've wrapped yourself in such a tight-knit circle, you need to back yourself out of that. And because you end up hating everything that isn't you, and you end up hating things that isn't everything you already say, and then it just gets worse. Then reality becomes worse, and you dive further back into the circle. Yeah, you need friends who check you. That helps too. And then you go back into recreating this algorithm that drives you further into the dark side. And I hate that I mixed the Star Wars reference in here, but yes, it drags you further into the dark side. And before you know it, you hate everything that breathes. And then you end up in the point where if you're following somebody that you don't follow and you think they're a piece of shit, then the person following them's a piece of shit, and everyone who follows them must be a piece of shit. And if they're all pieces of shit, then everyone must be a piece of shit. Do friends agree with you, or do they stop you from becoming a horrible person? Both. You want friends that can both agree and stop you from being a horrible person. Friends should smack sense into you when needed. Yeah, and that's what friends are for. But even then, some of those friends, even then, right, you can end up in a circle of friends that have all abused the algorithms on all of these platforms, TikTok, Twitter, that create this circle and bubble. And then you're all friends because you all met from this circle and bubble, and you all follow the same people. You all talk to the same people. And so your friends can't tell when you're going to the dark side. And so what ends up happening is you end up wrapping yourself into this tight-knit, scary circle that you don't notice how dangerous an echo chamber is, and how quick and easy it is to get sucked into one, not just through your friends, but through the circles you've made, the things you like, and the way that sometimes if you only meet people who agree with everything you say, which sometimes is a fucking lie because they might be a pushover and a people pleaser, but that is less of this particular argument here. And when you make friends against your will because they're extroverts, exactly. And so you have to find a way. You have to find a balance. Like that's a great example here is like, even though I say things that I fully agree with to myself, I know nobody here agrees with everything I say. Like, and I expect y'all to not agree with everything I say. And I hope that y'all don't agree with everything I say, because then that would mean that y'all have wrapped yourselves into another echo chamber. Yeah, just a chameleon who agrees with whatever people say and then use it against you later. That too. A fucking snake in the grass. And that's one of those things that like I understand the whole circle. Hell, even Malk, me and Malk, like we don't agree on everything, and I'm glad we don't. But also, I think that's made us better friends as time has continued on. I think that's actually made us a better group of friends. Like we all don't agree on everything. Me and Malk are different, and I like that because hi Malk. And that's a good thing, but people don't fully realize that. Yeah, ideas need to be challenged, and algorithms and people forcing you or otherwise trying to shove you off the internet do not support the idea of challenging somebody else's thought process. And that's inherently like algorithms go deeper than just algorithms. Algorithms are also just as deep in people. People are just as big of a problem with algorithms as like regular people. And that is the scary thing about all of that. That is why all of the like everything about an algorithm and everything about people are absolutely terrifying when you start giving them the ability to control stuff that they can or cannot see. Because, obviously see no evil, hear no evil. But when you start seeing no evil and you start hearing no evil, then all you start hearing is yourself in your fucking echo chamber. And so you got to make sure that, if you're working with an algorithm, you got to make sure that you go against your grain no matter what. You got to make sure at some point you go up against your own grain and don't fulfill your own thoughts. At some point, you got to mix something in there that you don't agree with. And if you don't, then you're going to end up just as deep in as everyone else who is in an echo chamber. And that's the unfortunate part. Like, I agree with Lou in the aspect of just ditch echo chambers. And we would actually probably have better people on this planet, a better society of people on this planet. Because challenges and ideas and people will be able to argue and discuss and dislike each other for more often than not. And so we'll know how to treat one another again when we don't like something that somebody else likes, or we like something that somebody else also likes. And we've gotten to that point that we don't have that anymore. And so, these algorithms, I do agree, should probably go, and then we'd have better people. It's just like, come on, man. And so that's my whole thing when it comes to algorithms. I've never liked them, and people also create echo chambers using them. I just don't like algorithms. I don't fuck with them. It is why every once in a while I do swap my algorithms or I start enticing my algorithm to start liking things that I don't like. And then I don't challenge it. And so it's fine. I see things I don't like and I see things I do like. And I try my best to keep that balance. I got to I got to have a little bit of hate, and then I got to have a little bit of love. You got to have a little bit of mix there. You can't have too much of the one or the other. And I like sitting perfectly in that balance. But sometimes I go a little too far one way or the other. And when I go too far one way, that's how I end up closing off Twitter and like signing out for a week because I went way too far one way and I need shit to calm down. That's just how that works for me. And I can't with that stuff. I don't like algorithms, never have, probably never will.